Hi friends, welcome back. In the last video tutorial, I promised to use another front-end technology. In the last video tutorial, we made use of React, but in this video clip, we are going to make use of Vue on how to integrate Paystack subscription API into our project. So to make use of Vue in this replit account, I will try to create a new repo and then making use of Vue.js. So to start with, let me just type a view here. Then I can click on the view tree, this particular one. Then I will name it Paystack View Sub API. And I will enter key. So as you can see, our project is being created for us by Replit. So we are going to do a few things. The first thing I will do is to remove this part to clean up the template a little bit. So that's good. Then I'm going to rename our file here. This is a hello world, and I'm going to change it to pay. Change this to pay, and then this will be a also. So in our source folder, I will go to component. All right, notice the component, then the view. So we have our hello world here. So all we need to do is just to rename it to pay. Right, then let me try to open the file, and then we can clearly see the file here now. That is pay dot view. Let me change this to, I think we are having a capital, okay, small letter here. So this should also be in capital letter. So okay, good. We've been able to successfully change that. Oh, sorry. I think this should be up. I made a mistake there. I wanted to change this one. This so let me just rename it to right. So let me open it again. Okay, now we have everything that we want here now. So here also, let me try to remove all the HTML elements that we have there, and then let me remove all this code in the script. All right. So let's go back to our app.view. That is our root component. All right. Then in our main.js, let me open it in another tab. Okay, as you can see now, we have our route here, the router. Then let me change this to pay also. And let me say change this to pay also. All right. So now the next thing we want to do is to grab the form elements and the other input elements that we use in our last video tutorial, that is the one we use in our React video tutorial. Let me grab that, paste it here as you can see. So we have the boilerplate code here, and we are going to make a few changes. And then here where we have a HTML4, which is for React, we are going to change it to normal 4. So say replace all. Okay, we've been able to place that. And then here now we have a what is called a V model for to interact with our input element. So we call this also to be email. Then we have the one for amount. Then we have for first name, and lastly for last name. So I think we are pretty much done concerning our HTML form. So the next thing we need to do now, as you can see, we have imported ref, and then from view. So let me declare a variable. We call it const email or ref, and then set this to empty string, and then we have also for amount and then our last name. So I'll change this to amount, and then first name, and the name. All right. So let me just put a 0 here as an initial value. So the next thing we need to do now, let me try to run and see how what we have done so far looks like. All right, you can see the form now, the way it's looking. So it's not looking, nice. So let's style it a little bit by making use of W3 CSS. So W3 CSS. So I'm going to copy code. That's exactly what I did in the last video tutorial on React. So I will come to the CSS aspect, open it in a new tab, and then try to remove the one that comes with view. So now I want, so I can close it. So as you can see, the page is looking Nice now. I think it's a little bit beautiful. Let's continue. Having done that now, we want to try to use a fetch API to interact with our backend. The first thing that we do is to declare, we call it Paystack variable. I will say const, then sub. And of course, it's going to be an arrow function. So having done that, I will declare another variable called the else. Then this is going to be an async function, and then we have the await. Yeah, then we have the fetch. Then the URL to our backend. Of course, we are going to the same one we used in our last video tutorial, which is for Paystack subscription. So I will grab this now. As you can see, because we are not interacting with it well, you can see status false, message invalid amount. So in our API first API now, I'm gonna use a practice here. Then I'll paste the URL to our backend. Having done that, now the next thing we want to do is to declare a variable. So I'll take const chasing equal await average dot chasing. And after that, we have a command here. Then have a email dot hello. Then here I have a email. Then we do the same thing for amount. We have amount here. Then we have a amount here. Do the same thing for first name, also for last name, and last name here. So now having done this, then we now need to pass this our function to pick a handler. So we come to our button here, and we have that here, click. Then after that, we come here. Since we are having some errors here, let me try to refresh to bit. Okay, I think the error is gone now. If I should just put let's say 100,000 here, so we are not having anything because we've not logged into the console. So here now, let's try to log something to the console, then have a log, then JSON. Have to go back again and try to fill in something. Let's say 1,000 here. Alright, our button is trying to refresh the page after we click the button. So let's do something on the button. So here we have a dot prevent page reload. So after that, if I should come back here once again and just put 1,000 here. Okay, the page is no longer reloaded, and you can see we have a status true now, which means we have something. So our target now is to grab this authorization underscore URL. So let's try to do that. So let me go back to chasing here that what we have here, and now we try to log something out again. Let's have a here JSON dot pass. I want to convert it to an object. So then we have a dot data dot authorization. I copy that. Let me go back to grab that once again. So I copy this. Then have a authorization array. So now let me try to refresh again. So if I should come here and try to put 1,000 here, okay, and so we're having undefined. All right. So we didn't grab everything well, so it should be we did put the A. So now let's retry again and see what actually happened. Click on people pay with Paystack button. You can see now we have this URL, this checkout URL. That's fantastic. Exactly what you are looking for. So now we want to redirect to this URL. What we have this checkout. So how do we achieve that? It's very simple. All we need to do is to grab this and have a window dot location dot href is. So when we do that, should be able to, after doing this, we should be able to be directed to this checkout page that we have here. So the next thing we want to do here now, where we have our amount. So I will just say, instead of having this, let me see what I can do. I will need to declare a variable. For the variable, let's say amount. Let's have a const amount var for this times 100. Alright, and here now we put the variable here. So I think that is pretty much what we need to do in that space. So let me try to load the browser again and then try to fill in something and tell on the amount. If I click the button once again, seems like we're having an error here. It is saying it's complaining about our authorization library here. Let me just grab this and paste it here inside our function. And I should now, if I should now try to input some amount there, click the pay button. Alright, we have this and it has redirected. Good. So let me try to use its statement here that if casing, if it's not null or undefined, okay, us redirected to checkout page. So let me try once again. So let me click on the pay button again. Alright, let me refresh. Alright, as you can clearly see, we've been redirected to the checkout page. So let me try to fill in my card details and now pay the 1000. You can see our transaction is successful now. So that is pretty much what we can do on how to integrate a Paystack subscription API using Vue in our front end. So in the next video tutorial, we'll be looking at another front end technology that we can use